Last class we discussed uh, iterating on a single design. So we took a single design and then we made three or four, five different versions of it. And the next step is to take one of those designs to the next level. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Um, so what I'm gonna do is share my current progress. So here is what we came up with last class. That video should be up by now on YouTube, and you should have a link to it on Brightspace. I've also uploaded it to Brightspace as well. So here is the current state of what we have, and the next step for me usually is I like to take what I do into 3D as soon as possible so that I can iterate on it, right? For me, a lot of the times for whatever the concept is gonna be, it's easier to get it in a 3D because once I make those changes and I update it, I can either bring it back into here, throw some textures on it that way so you can get a better idea, or move to a more closer to finished version. And whenever I have it in 3D, I can then turn it into any angle and then get those shots that I need to, so I can get like my side shot, my perspective shot, if we ever need to do orthographics or anything like that. When I say orthographics, I mean your front, back, top, bottom, those kind of orthographic angles that give you, just information about the height, scale, and different things on the model, right? So, I like these two. I kind of like the weaponry on this, and then I like the shape of this. So I might go in between these two, right? So I'm going to just I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna just crop this guy right here, and as I crop it, I can export it. All right, so now it's exported, and I can go into 3ds Max, and then I can just bring in a plane. So I'm gonna hit my F on the keyboard, which takes me to my front view. I'm just gonna draw a plane out, hit M on the keyboard. That'll bring up my materials, and just gonna general map, make it a bitmap. It'll ask me to navigate to where my image is. It'll give me a pop-up here in a moment, and then I just want to navigate to where my image is. It's in my concept folder. Then boom, drag this to the base color, and then I can drag it and drop it onto the material, either using that or either by doing that or assigning it that way. All right, so I do have like a general idea of what like I have some references that I've been gathering. So that's another thing, is don't skimp out or forget to gather some reference, right? Like if you have an idea of what you're going for, gather some reference. It is paramount. All right. So right now it's a little stretched and skewed. I can just go into my UVW map, bitmap fit, and then I'm just gonna fit it so that now it's the actual size of it. All right, so there's a few ways that you can go about kind of making your shape. So I'm just gonna create a box over here. I'm gonna show you guys a cool technique. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna shift, drag, I'm gonna make this an instance. All right, and now that it's an instance, the cool thing is anything I do over here happens over here. So I can move this one freely. So I can do this. I can snap it, go 90 that way, and then let's go Alt X, G, F on the keyboard. All right, Alt 1 on the keyboard. Sorry, I kind of went into autopilot mode there. So Alt 1 on the keyboard will allow me to start putting some edge segments in this bad boy. All right. There's a few different ways I can make this hole cut, whatever you want to call it here. And I'll show you a few different ways to do that. So I just want to make the base shape, because whenever I get the base shape down, right? Let me pull this down a little bit. Let's go local view. All right. I'm just gonna, let's go collapse here. So I've kind of got the base kind of done, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually push this guy to the center like so, and then I can split this guy into a symmetry feature. Right. So I only have to do it one time. Right. And that's kind of the beauty about this. So another cool thing about this is I'm gonna make this cylinder. Go to my perspective, and then I'm just gonna let's make this bigger. I made this cylinder. I'm going to align it to this guy. Actually, let me show you something. The reason this is cool is because I can also go here, right? Go center. All right, and then I'm going to actually, let me do another align. See if I can align it on the y-axis too. All right. So now if I scale this bad boy down, all right, let's go here. Scale this radius down quite a bit. Just want to make sure it fits in this. So actually, let's center it to that. Okay, that's the center, but I don't feel like it. There we go. Right. So there's a few ways I can do this operation. All right, I can either Boolean this out, or I can, let me show you this something cool that let's do. Let's just reduce the height of this guy quite a bit. And then I can, let's go back to our editable poly, and then we can attach this guy. All right, I'm going to Alt X, and then I'm going to shift drag, make this an element, hit OK. Let's go 5 actually. Let's delete this. And then I'm gonna shift drag that all the way through, and it's just gonna create that for me. All right. So that's like the basic shape right there. And then what we can do is, let me hit Alt and X. So it's got this kind of like paneling or window stuff, window dressing up there. So I'm gonna use this. I'm just adding some more geometry. Let's go. The reason I try to do everything as low as possible right now is because right now the geometry is relatively low, and I can kind of manipulate it however I want to. The more I go up in geometry, the harder object is going to be to manipulate. Right. So another cool thing about this is, well, because I have this instance over here that's untouched, I can still go in here and still make some of my edits. So there's a few ways that you can attack this like little shape right here. So you can do something like, so if this is the shape like this, boom, 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 boom. So that's the general shape of it right there. Let me just rotate it. I don't know if I want it to be like panels or like, I don't know if I want it to be like paneling or, let me attach all these together. One on the keyboard. I'm just gonna bring this. I think the idea is maybe we can move this guy up. I'll match it to this line here. And then this guy can kind of be a support for this angle, I think is what the idea is. So that to be close. And I can play with how much I want this to either be flush with it or not. Okay, so now the decision is to either make it paneling or make it like this kind of wire structure that is on the ship. All right, actually I'm gonna snap all of these together. So I'm gonna do, instead of grid points, I'm gonna go verts, and then I'm just gonna grab this and then snap that to that. Snap that to that. Turn off my snaps. I'm just gonna move this so it's a little more flush. Okay. Alright. Feels better. This is okay to go right in here. As long as the rest of these are kind of aligned to each other, I think I'm good. So here's my dilemma. So if I enable rendering in preview right there, so there's a few different options for what these can be. So they can be kind of these like round things, right? And this is when you get to kind of experiment, right? Like, so like I can get to something like this, or if I want to, I can go into my sweeps, right? Kind of, maybe it's kind of like the scaffolding thing, or right, something like that. So I just want something maybe that looks a little more aerodynamic. This looks aerodynamic-ish. It's an egg. It's an egg air. See, this doesn't. This feels more like industrial, right? I mean, maybe I want, but I could want to. Let's see. Is it this way? Here we go. No, I almost want it to where, because I feel like this would cause drag, right? Like if you're going, you're the imagination is that. Let me see. Let me hide this selection. The idea is that it's going forward. Would this kind of shape help it? I don't think so. So, yeah. Give me one moment. All right. All right. I'm back. All right. So you know what? I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a mix of both. All right. I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna go Control V, make a copy of it, and then cut this guy out, and then I'm gonna return this back to its base. It's actually. Let me hide this guy. I'm gonna hit 1 on my keyboard. And then instead of this, I'm gonna snap that to that. It doesn't need to go anywhere. Boom. And it's actually Alt Q this. So now what I'm going to do is, actually let me go back. Alt Q, then 2, Shift, Control drag, snap this to this, this to this, Shift drag, snap, Shift drag, snap. Now I can delete these, 1 on the keyboard, Control A. Then I can weld these guys together. All right, now if I throw in editable poly on this bad boy, maybe let's cut this out. Let's do a shell. Now let's unhide all. So now I've kind of got this the shape of it instead of just that. So now I can either, let me hide this one more time. So I'm going to delete it. Actually, no. Let's just hide it. We'll use it later. Okay. Dig it. Alright. So this is kind of cool. Alright, so if I go into my editable poly, I can do a couple of things. I might want to maybe hit R on the keyboard. Alright. Thin this out a little bit. I don't mind that. Alright, so the next thing is, I want to, let me, because I'm still going to attack this somehow. There we go. Squeeze it a little bit. Just making like some rudimentary shapes with it. Maybe make this one open up a little bit more. Alright, maybe make make this some sort of exhaust. Do the same for here, inset. And check. And then just extrude a little bit like so. Alright, for this nose piece, I kind of dig it so far. So let's do inset here. Inset there. And then the back. Let's inset there. And then I can extrude a little bit. It's a little too deep. It's just supposed to be glass. So okay. So now the top. Alright. Let me address some of this. See, I might want to chamfer it a little bit. See what that does. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go M on my keyboard here. I'm just gonna assign some rough materials to it. To convert this to an editable poly, because then that makes it easier to work with. Actually, let's do just a quick retopology on it. Retopology 5,000 is too much. Let's do maybe 1,000. Alright, that should be more than enough. Give us some decent topology on this. And then I might even go here. Right, so we've got, actually, maybe we need more than 1,000. Let's do 2,000. So I'm gonna compute. All right, better. All right, so same shapes, just a little more clean topology. Go into my edit poly mode. I might still, you know, like if I'm not, let's go F on the keyboard. Just grab these. Actually, FC. Might want to go FFD 4x4. All right, I'm just trying to find some more interesting shape language for this guy. So maybe something like that. Something a little more sleek. I can even start to, if I want to say it's like a fighter, right? When we're talking about those angles and what it kind of says about the craft. And because I made all those changes, I might want to do, I don't want that asymmetry. If I don't want that asymmetry, I will just throw on a symmetry modifier, right? Now I've got what I had before, but with symmetry. Okay. Let's go unhide all. Remove this, maybe reduce the shell size instead, right? Because I might be, I wanna maybe changing up some of this here in a bit. Just giving it if I do a chamfer and see what that looks like. Alright, I'm just gonna select some of these internals and then I'm gonna give them a material ID. So this is 2, and then I'll make these 3. And I think that's it. That's the only material IDs I need. And I'm not really too concerned about geometry, right? Like as long as it works, right? Like I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna do some. This is a concept, so I'm just kind of winging it right now. And maybe I do 4. Let's do maybe 5, and then 6. That'll be an interesting. So with that, what I did was I set up some material IDs. So now, if I have a multi-sub object, I can then start to assign different things. I think I have 6, so let's make 6. 1, 2, 3. I'm just giving you guys a quick rundown. Nothing. If you are familiar with any 3D software, you should know how to do a lot of this. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, maybe, I think this is glass, so let's do blue. It'll eventually probably change, but that's fine. Let's do, maybe this is like an orange paneling or something, and then maybe we'll make this like a dark. I'll see, because I need to see what it looks, what it's doing to the model. So if I scale this down a little bit, you guys will see when I assign the material what the multi-sub object does. So boom. So now it's giving me my so I need to switch this orange for white. Because that is, alright, so I need to switch that for that. Because that's like gonna be like I might even make that like an emissive material, so it glows. So like if we render it, you'll get like this kind of cool glowing effect. Just do emission and it'll do white, and that's fine. And then I'll make this one the orange, kind of spaceshipy, kind of cool. And then I'm gonna make the opposite of it kind of blue. That'll be like the color that I'm going for. Kind of like opposites on the color spectrum that kind of help each other. 5, and then maybe like either black or steel gray or something like that. All right. So now we've got the basics of our ship material. So now let's throw on a turbo smooth and see what it looks like. It might smooth fine, it might not, I don't know. Okay, smooth is fine, just fine. Let's hide this. Alright, so we've got like a basic, very, very basic concept for it. Kind of looks cool with some of the paneling, so I might do, what's that, orange here, and then do like that blue here. All right, and then I can just mirror this as an instance is fine. All right, I'm just gonna move it over. Probably move this guy in a little bit too. All right, so we've got like the basics of the ship now. All right, and then we can do some cool material changes to it too to give it more of more variants. Like we can make it like attack red or something like this. Just kind of feels more neutral. Like even though it's got like an aggressive vibe to it, but it's a little more neutral. So now what I can do is I can start to render these out. So let's go here. I'm going to use active shade using Arnold for a second. Hopefully it doesn't crash my computer. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. All right, for this one as well, I might add a missive for this right here, or just go in, maybe go, let's do, and then just assign it a different, I want to say it's 2. No, it's 3. Okay. 3, enter. Alright, so now it's got that same kind of light as well. Alright, so now I can start to I can do some renders. Let's build perspective. Just gonna group this together. Ship 1, and then I'm gonna rotate it. FC and rotate it 90 this way, and then I'm gonna hit P on the keyboard. So now I've got kind of like something like this. Alright. So now I can hit default. Let's do no, that's nonsense. High quality or default. And then let's do that. And then let's see how long it'll take to render. Let's pop a quick render in. Alright, not too long. Alright, so now I can just do file, save this image as ship.png. Oh, I already have one. Ship render.png. Okay. Alright, so the cool thing about this, if I hit Control and C, I can set a camera there. Hit P again. I'm gonna go to my top view. Alright, and then I can do Control C. Let's go P right there. Control C. P again. Right. Control C. P. Alright, this is the bottom. Control C. P. Alright. You guys get the idea. Alright. So once you have like a decent layout of what you're trying to do, you can then start to take some angles of it. Control C. P. So now I've got all cameras from top, bottom, left, right, and then 3/4. Alright. So I would go about rendering all of those, and then I would bring it into Photoshop. Alright, so now we've got our new ship inside of Photoshop. I'd make a duplicate of it. I'm gonna do, let's do G, and let's make it alright. So there's a few things that you can do. So like I can do some, let's see if I can even find, let's see if I can find some sci-fi. Let's do images. See if I can find anything. Because sometimes like a cool overlay will do, but if you can't find anything that you can make your own. copy this. Control V. It's interesting. So the idea is that you can kind of multiply it, or let's see. Get something interesting out of it. Right, it's not supposed to be the whole design, but just to give yourself something a little more. But this might be, let's go. Just gonna try to find some free assets that I can use to kind of start bashing this together. Let's see. Let's see what this. I'm just trying to see where the shape language fits. It's not bad over here. See, this might work. Something kind of like this. Right. All right, so now if you want, you can go into, just select in the panels. All right, I'm just gonna make this a duplicate, and then I'm gonna mask this out. So now I've got kind of like a cool, interesting looking panel lines that I really didn't even put in myself. It adds a little bit of variation to the model. It makes it look like, you know, there's something more interesting than is there going on, right? Let me copy. This one's cool too. There's a few of these that I'm just gonna steal. They're all licensed to use, so that's what I'm doing. And these are very, very low res versions of them, so you know, I'm not trying to make any money off of this. I'm not really. Trying to see if there's another one. There's some really intricate stuff that I just get kind of bored with, some of the stuff that you can, let me see. Okay. I do have, let's go to, I do have Envato. Let me see if I can find some sci-fi. Nothing useful. That just looks so old school. Some of these look so old school, it's funny. Okay, so let me see. Let me try to. So the ones I have aren't the worst because I can't. So it's a little different. Right. Just gonna make a duplicate of this, and then grab it over here. Control T, and then I'll do the same blending mode, which is color dodge for this one. So color dodge over here, and then Control T, and then you can control using these arrows to manipulate the texture. Let's maybe scale it down a little bit, all right? And then we're just gonna use that to manipulate some of these into where it matches that orientation. All right. After that, you can do the same thing, right? So I'm just gonna go in here, select with my shift, and because my shapes are simple, right, you can see how much easier it is to kind of do what it is that I'm doing. And then just gonna create that mask using that. All right, so now we've got some more interesting paneling kind of going on both sides. It looks like more metallic-y, sci-fi-y. And let's go see if I can find some interesting, maybe some metal textures. Everything I find is just so much. It's like there's no subtlety in anything anymore. Back in my day, people were subtle. Yeah, whatever. Alright, let's see. Let's grab this again. I can even still use this same one. Just grab it, Control T. Alright, just use it over and over and over again. I'm just gonna do color dodge. color Doge, and then I can do a few things like this. All right. I kind of like this idea of like, see how this kind of paneling is kind of like, almost gives it like a race car-esque vibe. I can do V, Control T, and maybe do something like so. No, I don't think that works very well, but that's fine. I'm gonna go W, select the body. All right, we're just selecting the body of the this orange body part, and then we can go here to this guy, and then boop. And then, because we already have that mask, now anytime we do something like maybe try to blend it with the round soft brush, it blends a little bit better, right? Blends a little bit better, right? So now we can start to, I'm going to start to stack that paneling. Maybe I'll use this one. Instead of that, I'll do color dodge for it. So V, it's our move tool, Control T. I'm just trying to figure out how it needs to go. There we go, matching the orientation. All right. I'm just gonna okay, and then you can still go in and now you're getting the idea. Is you just keep stacking your photo bash textures, everything on top of each other. All right, and this is just like the first. Let's go color dodge. Just gonna move it to something a little more interesting. Maybe even reverse it and see if this gives us something more interesting. All right, it does. All right, move this guy over here, like so. close. Grand scheme. Just kind of getting that. And then, right. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup. So what I can do is like from here. So what I might want to do is like I want to maybe design some like maybe this is like a some sort of something. I was just thinking maybe I could do some sort of light design on the ship that kind of resembles the made up paneling, right? You know. And the cool thing about this is because, you know, we have all the 3Ds and the renders and things like that, we can really start to mess with this guy. All right. I'm just kind of winging it right now. Not really, there's no real rhyme or reason. I just want to see, I want to test out a quick technique, which is I want to do something where I want to see if it looks like it's recessed in there. So I've got my little design in here. So I'm gonna go my effects. Instead of stroke, I'm gonna do an inner shadow. Actually, let me zoom in so you guys can kind of see the effect that I'm trying to go for. I've got this kind of light stuff, and I want it to look like it's recessed inside of my ship here. So like it's almost like recessed. So I'm gonna add an inner shadow to it. I'm gonna change the direction, and right now it's set to color dodge. I want to make it a darker color, and then I'm gonna start to increase the choke, the distance, and the size of it. Let's do normal so that I can see what it's doing. Reduce the size. There we go. There we go. All right. So you guys can see what I'm talking about, right? Like if you take your time with it, right, and you do something, you know, kind of interesting, some interesting shapes, and you want it to look like it's recessed into your design, this is a good way to try to kind of get that effect, right? And then I can change where the angle is, but I want mine to look like, you know, like that. So this is what I'm talking about. And another little tip that you can use is instead of making it black, you can use the ship's shadow itself. So I'm going to look for like a darker spot on the ship, right? Like where the shadow has collected, and I'm going to use that to inform the the inner shadow as to where to put it. And I can still add a mask here because I might want to clean up some of these little strays that I've got here. All right, I might want to clean up some of those strays, and you can still even go back and affect some of these designs however you want to. So maybe I want to maybe make it like maybe it's some sort of holy shit. I don't know. You're just kind of messing around. You're seeing what works, what doesn't work. You know. Right. Then if I still now if I go back here, every time I draw now, I've got that kind of effect. All right. So I can do that pretty much anywhere now, and then still get that kind of rune like effect. All right. So I like it on this side paneling piece, but I don't know if I like it anywhere else. All right. So we've got this kind of ancient looking ship design, and we can still, all right, go in and let's see, we can add an adjustment layer. We can go, let's do color lookup. We can still kind of affect the design here. Didn't like any of those, so, and I go through them kind of fast, right? I'm trying to make these decisions kind of in a quick way, not really giving it too much time, right? You're trying to make as many interesting decisions as possible. All right, so that's the basic idea. Is you go through, you take one of your designs to the next level, right? Try to flesh something out, think through it, right? So maybe I want maybe I like this metal here. I'm just gonna grab. So I've got this metal. The scratches are way too big, so I'm just gonna want to reduce them a little bit. So I'm just gonna go here. The idea is, right, and then you can usually you just duplicate it a bunch. See if I can find something tileable. interesting. Trying to find something that tiles easier than that, just cause that's weird looking. There's this kind of interesting looking perforated metal that I don't know about. I'll show you what it looks like. It's a very interesting. I don't even know how it would work, but like, let's see. You know, like it's one of those things where like because of the nature of what the project is, you know, you can try anything. You can see if it'll work. So let me make a duplicate of it and see if I can get something interesting out of it. What if I invert it? Control I. Control I. Alright, what if I inverted it and then tried to use that? I might not mind this lighten aspect of it. Okay, control. Alright, and it's supposed to tile, so let's see if it tiles. When I click, I'm going to convert these two to a smart object. It doesn't tile very well. That's fine. That is fine. That's fine that you don't tile. Control T. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I don't know if I need all this, but I'm doing all this. Control T. Alright. So, alright. Let's go convert. I'm going to convert all these into a smart object. I'm going to see if it works. If it doesn't, it's a nice try. But if it does, we got something cool. Just going to turn it this way so that the orientation of those is like so. I think I might have to do one side and then do another side, so that's fine. I might duplicate this then. Alright, and then W on my keyboard will allow me to select just the blue. Alright. And now I can use that as my mask for this guy. Alright, now let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, it's not the worst. I'm gonna erase it in some parts too, so like let me show you how I post-process this a little bit. Just whoops. A little soft brush here, right? Just brush some of it off. A little soft brush. A little soft brush. And then I might still, whoops. Okay, it's not bad. I might use vivid light. I don't mind the vivid light version of it. Alright, and then we rotate this bad boy a little bit this way. Whoops. Alright. Just trying to match this angle. And just trying to find some lines that correspond to each other. And I did that with there. Alright. And now you can go down and select. Right. And then, it does seem, you realize that, oh, that seems like a lot of work but it's worth it when you can get something that is, cohesive. And so now let's Control G. That's going to put all of these in a group together. All right, and then I can merge the group, and then I can go filter. Let's go here, filter, sharpen. Let's do an unsharp mask on it. And let's do I'm just kind of adding like a little bit of a drop shadow to it. There's a few different ways to add a shadow. You can go traditional, right? You can do paint a shadow, right? You can do paint your shadows. This is the old school way. I mean, still new school way. You can do this and get away with it. Reduce the opacity. Then paint a core shadow, which is a little darker. All right, so what you're doing is you're building a gradient out where it's darker in the center and then on the edges, and then based on what it is, you'll alter the shadow, right? One way to create shadows. Another way is you duplicate the object, right, like so. You move it a little bit, Control T, you move it like so a little bit, and then you can either filter, do a color overlay, make that color the color of the shadow you want. You can make it black, dark blue, which is what I'm going to do, and then hit OK, and then you can hit filter, You can also blur. Max, get out of here, buddy. Oh, oh. Still wants to say hi. Sorry, guys. Say hi, buddy. Say hi, buddy. Alright. Go to your bed, bro. Alright. So, you can then filter, blur, do a Gaussian blur. And then you have something a little more accurate. Hit OK. And then you can move this guy up to the side. I'm just using, all right, and that's how you can create a shadow before, after, before, after. All right, so now it looks like it's got some dimension. All right, if I want to throw maybe some more effects on it, I can maybe act like, let's do file. Let's make a new artboard. And, whoops. Let's make a new artboard. All right, this guy, hit OK, plus sign. Right, so I can take my ship here, Control T, right. Let me see if I can find anything. Whoops. Just throwing a quick motion blur on it. And then you could even throw some nice and fake lighting around it. filter, blur, motion blur again. This time just reduce it a little bit. Alright, and then grab the ship itself, do a filter, blur, motion blur on it, let's reduce it, and then you're just gonna reduce the opacity. Now we can make it look like, there's a fleet of them coming somewhere or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can start to really affect how stuff looks. Let me see. Copy this image, Control V. Just gonna select this. I'm gonna remove the background, and then I'm just gonna drop this guy all the way in the back. All right. Let's do. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just adding a few different elements into it, and it's just I'm just trying to find some interesting backdrops for it. Might have found something. Okie dokie. Alright, so this isn't a bad stopping point. Obviously, you guys can spend much more time on your versions than I am right now. Right? Just keep building on it and, see where you get to. Alright. Alright. Well, that is going to be it for today's class. I will see you guys on Wednesday for the follow up lecture where I can check out what you guys have accomplished with yours. This is pretty much your midterm project is so you take one of these. So like we started off with this guy that actually started off with these three designs, and then we nailed it down to one 3D model that we then brought back into Photoshop, did a little bit of texturing, and then took into this phase where we kind of brought it into a scene. So, yeah, let your imagination go wild. Let me know what kind of stories you can tell with your concepts. All right. So the idea is we take these concepts, we take these ships, whatever it is, whether it's a weapon, whether it's a person or character, an environment, right? Where we can take it to a story, an end, right? Like I want you guys to not just make pieces. I want you guys to tell stories. I want people to be able to think, oh, what's going on in there? Is you look at this, you go, ooh, is there an invasion? Did they just do something? Are they leaving from a planet? Are they coming to a planet? Right? Is this a helping force? You look at the colors, you go, oh, are these invaders? Or are these helpers? Are these, so we went through a lot of different things today. We went through how we would use 3D in our design as well. So we actually have the model of the ship if we needed to do any more augmentations, if we need to get any more shots. I even showed you guys how to get different camera angles from it. So we've got our top, side, left, top, bottom, right? You get the idea, right? We have all of these different angles that we can use to make our scene pop. So like if I wanted to, if the director said, "Hey, we need to see something from behind of the ship coming out," right? Or you know, the infamous, like maybe like a Millennium Falcon coming into, you know, into the shot to introduce the you know, we can do that, right? So that's the idea of the way that I do the concept, is because we can flow back and forth in this kind of state of, all right, we're there, we're not there, we're there, we're not there, we're pushing, we're pulling on the design philosophies, design ideas. Hopefully you're communicating with the director, whoever the director is, to see what their vision is, and you're pairing that with what you're designing, so that by the end of it you guys all come up with something that is cohesive to the to the to the company, to the task at hand, and will deliver the results that you ultimately want. So yeah, that's it for today's class. I look forward to seeing what you guys kind of come up with for your designs. All right. So yeah, it's your boy Ty. It's Concept Art 2, Art of Struggle. I will see you guys on Wednesday.